Hello everyone, Christina here. Welcome to another live stream here at my YouTube channel. I apologize for not being on camera today, but I'm still just a little under the weather. I think I'm running at about 80%, which is a whole lot better than where I was last week. So I'm glad to be back. Hello everyone over there in the comments and in the chat. So nice to see you all. It's been a while since we've been all together, right? In fact, there is something that I wanted to let you guys know about right here at the top of this live stream. So the last time I was live, if you can believe it, was a mail call last month, which is crazy. And in that mail call video, or in that live stream, I was opening some mail and I showed a card that had a stamp set from Colorado Craft Company. And I said, because I thought that I'd heard that they were closing it or something like that. Turns out they're not, and I'm so happy that they're not. Colorado Craft Company is still around. They're still producing amazing, lovely products for all of us to play with. So I just wanted to make that correction before we move on. They were really sweet and let me know right away. They're like, hey, no, we're still around. I'm not quite sure what company I was thinking of when I had heard that, because I know I had heard of someone closing and I was super, super sad because I really love their products. So I'm not sure what company that was. I'm hoping everyone out there is doing their best. But Colorado Craft Company, alive and kicking, and we love them. So I just wanted to let you guys know about that. The other thing I want to let you guys know about before we get into the crafting tonight is that, speaking of mail call, we're going to have another mail call on Wednesday. So it's going to be in the evening this time at 7 p.m. And we're going to be going over all of the cards that you sent to me for the month of August, everything with the coloring theme. So it's going to be really, really, I've seen a small glimpse of some of these coloring cards and they're amazing. That's why I repeated the coloring theme for 2025. We had one in 2024 and I thought we need this again in 2025. So that's what we're going to do on Wednesday evening, just an hour later than the time tonight. So those of you who are able to catch the live streams at night, this is going to be great because you'll be able to watch mail call and participate in that. Okay, so I think the only other thing I wanted to let you guys know about before we get into the crafting is today's the 8th, which means tomorrow is the 9th, which means my brand new release is going to be available at concordand9th.com at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. I'm super excited. This is the first of 2 holiday releases. I've got a September holiday release and an October holiday release because you guys know me, I do a lot of holiday cards. One release is not going to have everything I need for all of my holiday cards. So this is just the first of many holiday products coming. Just to give you a little glimpse, I've shared sneak peeks over at Instagram and here at YouTube and at Facebook. But here are all of the cards that I created for the release coming out tomorrow. Lots of really fun products. I hope you guys will check it out. Lots of fun. And I'm hoping that I can edit some videos from when I created these cards. I think I'm going to do that and try to share them over the next couple of weeks so that you guys will be able to see all of these, in process as they're created. So this is September 2025 release, and I hope you guys will come back tomorrow morning. I'll have a walkthrough video showing you all the cards and all the products as well. But okay, let's get started. So because I didn't really have a chance to play with my August release very much with you all, we're actually going to break out a few or just a couple products from it. I thought I would play with the Botanic Shade Stencil Pack and the Scenting Trio Bundle. So it's the stamp and the dies. And then just to mix it up a little bit, I thought I'd do some double stenciling and add a dot texture onto these really large leaves using my Gradual Dots Stencil Pack. So this was released many months ago. I thought it would be kind of cool, kind of doubling up on these. So yeah, here we go. As far as colors go, let's revisit the color catalog and the color cube. I thought that was so fun to get kind of like an autumn color palette. So let's revisit that. And I'm going to show you exactly how I use my, all of my color catalog products together in order to find a color palette that I'm going to be using. So I like to start with the PDF version of the color catalog. I'm going to be using volume 2 tonight because I've been using volume 1 most of the time. So volume 2, I think is going to be really fun. So in the PDF, you have an option to have it give you different colors by theme or keyword. So I'm going to scroll up here and you can see how it says browse by colors, browse by keywords, or browse by collections. So I'm not entirely sure which one is going to have kind of autumn shades for me. I'm going to probably go by keywords. Okay, here we go. That was a great little instinct there because look, we're going to be right at autumn. So all I have to do is tap on autumn, and now it looks like there are 9 different color palettes that it suggests for autumn. And I can kind of go through and get an idea of what these color palettes look like. So I'm kind of thinking, let's just pick 2 and I'll have you guys vote. I really like 331, kind of like this dark navy and a dark chocolate, with the orange and yellow. I think that could be really pretty. And I also am really drawn to 309. So 309 and 331. I'm going to write this down really quick because my brain is still only half here, right? So 331 and 309. All right. And in the PDF, when you're looking at your color palettes, if you want to see that color palette closer up, you can tap on the color and it goes directly to that page in the PDF. Now I'm sitting at my craft desk. I'm ready to start working. And I happen to have bought the bundle that has the digital files plus the color cube itself, like all the catalogs and stuff. So I actually have the color cube as well. So this is the color cube number 2. And I'm going to open this up and pull out 331 and 309. So let's find this. 331. Oh, don't put your colors in yet. I'm going to have you actually vote. 331 and 309. Okay. They're kind of similar color palettes a little bit, right? Okay. And keep in mind we're doing leaves, right? So then I've got these 2 color palettes. Well, it helps that there's leaves on the actual cards themselves, right? That's helpful. Okay, I'm going to start the poll here in just a moment. In fact, you know what? Let's swap these so they're in numerical order, going left to right. So 309 and then 331. All right, I'm starting the poll right now. You guys let me know which one of these color palettes you would like me to play with. Oh, I'm spitting all over the place. I think they have kind of similar vibes. They both kind of have kind of like a gold shade in them, which I think is really neat. But one kind of leans a little bit more like more of a really warm brown over here, whereas over here it's more cool tone browns. So it kind of changes it just a little bit. So let me know which one you'd like to do. Hey, Carrie just said that Sarah Renee Clark is coming out with new color cubes. I heard that. I got her email newsletter. I know nothing about them, but I'm intrigued. It'll be really fun to see what she does with them. All right, I'm going to keep this poll up for just a little bit longer. Currently, it's looking split really. It's not exactly 50-50, but it's close. So I'm going to let this poll stay up just a little bit longer. And we'll see if there's a clear winner here in a minute. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull some ink colors, just like whatever is closest on my wall of inks in my craft room, and we'll see where we land. I'm really loving this like teal color over here. It doesn't look like that's going to be the one that wins though. The winner at 57% of the vote is 309. So I'll put this one aside. This is our color palette for tonight. Now let's pick out some ink colors that are similar. All right, I'm gonna have to step away from my desk for just a moment so I can figure this out. We've got kind of like dusty yellows. I don't know if I have anything that's quite like that. I'm mostly gonna be pulling from Concord and Ninth and Simon Says Stamp inks, but I guess I could also bring in some distress inks if something, in fact, maybe we should just do all distress inks. That could be really interesting. We're going to do a mix. We need kind of like a dusty yellow. I'm thinking Stardust. Oh, that's really good, actually. That's great. Stardust. And then I could probably just do a lighter application for the lighter yellow. I think that could work. And then, let's see. I'm thinking like a spiced cider. Let me look at my Simon Says Stamp colors again. They might have one that even goes a little bit better, because it's kind of like a really brownish orange, isn't it? Just by the color on the ink pad, and I have never used this color, but look at that. That's pretty good. Some nutmeg. Let me move this up so we can kind of see. Some nutmeg, and then we've got kind of like a dusty cool red. I'm thinking, it's not quite cayenne. You know what? Cayenne from Concord and Ninth is actually a really similar color as well. It's just a little too red for that other color there. How about paprika from, oh my word, that's crazy. It's also an ink pad I've never opened. That's hilarious. Okay, so then this kind of warm, really dark brown. Really dark, warm brown. We might have to do this last color from Simon Says Stamp, which almost makes me wonder, like, did they use, like, these three were sold together? This isn't dark enough. Let's find a different one that's a little darker. Maybe, because it needs to have kind of like that reddish tint to it. Let's see, I've got a couple options here. Let's see here. I've got three kind of browns, but one is actually more of like a really dark purpley color. And just from the color on the ink pad itself, I think this one is the best. So I've got like 3 ink pads I've never opened from Simon. Let's try them out. This could be really interesting. Okay, I'm putting these other 2 back in. And I'm also taking off my white jacket because it has long sleeves. And that's just asking to put your white sleeve into an ink pad. And that would be tragic, right? Okay, let's open these up really quick so we can get started. Oh, unfortunately, I don't have the big pads from Gina. I only have some minis. I think this is going to be pretty close. And I love Stardust from Concord and Ninth. It's one of my favorite colors. It's from their original color palette. Okay. We're doing some stenciling, so I'm going to grab my big grip mat from Altenew. Let's zoom out here a little bit too. All right. Now, this stencil is 6x9. We can get like 2 A2 card prints out of it. The lightest color in the color palette, I had some questions in the chat. I'm just going to do a really light application of Stardust because I don't have a yellow that's quite that pale. So I'll just do a really, I think we'll, if we do some kind of darker and lighter blending of each color, I think we'll naturally get that yellow color. So I'm not going to worry about it too much. All right, so this is the Botanic Shade Stencil Pack. It came out in August. And here are the stencils. I'm going to get a piece of cardstock that is half a letter size. Okay, I don't need 2 sheets, I only need 1. Here we go. All right, we'll put that right down there in the center. And then we'll just start. Okay, I need kind of a plan here. I wanted to do some of these gradual dots on maybe just one set of leaves. So, like one of the stencils of leaves. So I need to think about it, and I think I want it to be this really big one so that I can get like lots of dots on there. And then this stencil right here with the skinny leaves, I tend to like that more when I use the darkest shade for this, so that the dark shade isn't overwhelming to the rest of the design. So maybe I'll save Aster for that stencil, and then maybe I'll have one that is, let's see, I think I want the polka dot to be, maybe I'll do the light application of Stardust and then go over it for the dots to have it be darker. I think that could be really interesting. So then this stencil, I'll have it be a mix of the nutmeg and paprika. I think that could be really interesting. I'm going to do the dot texture last. So I'm going to start with this right here. Getting that kind of centered. It doesn't have to be lined up perfectly, so I'm not going to bother with doing little corners on my stencil today. All right. Now, this can be a little bit flimsy. It can catch on things. So I'm just going to be really careful when it comes to all of my ink blending today. So this is the one we're starting with, and this needs to be, oh gosh, I don't remember. Oh yeah, nutmeg and paprika. I'm going to start with nutmeg. And maybe we'll do like the bottom is nutmeg and then it fades up into paprika. Or maybe even the other way around. Yeah, let's do the other way around. Let's do, yeah, we'll do nutmeg coming in from the top. That's kind of an orange shade, right? I'll use my orange blending brush. And I don't know how this is gonna, okay, yeah. That was coming in hot. I'm glad I didn't do it straight from the brush. Okay. I'm gonna sit down. I've been standing. Let's sit down. And I might even be able to do some ink blending on the background because I think it's going to be kind of stark to have a white background with all these colors on it. So we'll see. I might even grab like some craft cardstock, and maybe we'll try this on some craft cardstock as well, just to see how it works up. Okay, I'm going to hold this down with my fingertip just to make sure the stencil doesn't start to kind of move around a little. Totally okay if I've got some kind of like hot spots over here where I've got lots of ink going down. I'm okay with that. Okay. I'm going to put nutmeg to the side, and I'm going to bring in paprika. And paprika is more of a red shade, so I'm going to switch to my red blending brush, which has a lot of other red on it. Let's see. I don't want it to pick up too much of the color that's already in the brush, so I just wanted to check how that was going to go. Okay. We'll just get this blending up. And I really want it to mix into that nutmeg shade. I'm using these really nice brushes from Pink Fresh. This is their 1-inch blending brush. Have you guys seen the new blending brushes from Waffle Flower? I think they're calling them background brushes. I'm intrigued. They look really good. Have any of you tried them yet? I'm trying to tell myself, you don't need more blending brushes. You don't need more blending brushes. But whenever you get a new blending brush, they're just so soft and so nice. I'm trying to remind myself I need to switch up the direction of the blending as well so I get more even coverage. Okay, I really love that. I feel like we lost a little bit of the nutmeg, but I also don't want to overdo it. So I'm going to switch to a new stencil. Ooh, that's pretty. All right, I'm going to clean up this stencil really quick. Hold on, I got to move my color cube out of the way so I can spray my stencil. And I just spritz it with a little bit of rubbing alcohol and then wipe it with a microfiber cloth. And that cleans off the stencil super, super fast so that you can, you know, if you're going to use the stencil again, you can move on and use it again. All right, let's do this one next. I'm nervous about all this ink on my grip mat. So I'm going to just wipe along the outside here and just pick up some of this ink because I don't want the color mixing, you know, when I go to ink blend. Okay. All right, we'll give that just a moment to kind of dry a little bit. The moisture tends to stay wet on top of the grip mat for a bit. Okay. So now we're going to come in with that darker shade. And I think I'll do another blend from, you know, like dark at the bottom going up to the light. Hi, Cheryl. I'm glad you caught me live as well. Welcome. All right, so this is kind of like a really, really dark purple, I think. I'm not sure. Let's test this. Yeah, it is kind of like a really dark purple. Interesting. Okay. I think it's going to be a really interesting addition. And then when I go to do the yellow with the polka dots on top, I think that's going to be really interesting too. It's going almost like a gray. I don't hate it. It's just different. It's definitely like a really dark maroon shade. I've never used this ink color before. It's really interesting. And it is a little bit easier to get a really soft application using a really large brush like this. All right, I'm trying to remind myself clockwise, counterclockwise, clockwise, counterclockwise. Hi, Cecilia. All right. And a nice soft blend. I kind of wish it was a little more brown. Like the original color reads a little more brown to me, not like a dark, cool purple. You know what I'm saying? So I'm tempted to add a little bit of brown to this blending, but I also don't want to overwhelm it. I'm definitely going to have to clean my grip mat before I come in with the yellow. Okay, let's see how this looks. I don't want it to get too dark. So that's pretty. I like it. It does read a little bit more purpley, right? All right, spray this with my alcohol. Wipe this down. I got ink all over the place on this one. Okay. I'm going to peel this up. Actually, you know what I discovered? Sometimes this grip mat is too grippy, especially since I just washed it recently. And if you don't have a thick paper on it, sometimes it will tear the paper. It's so strong. Okay. Get a baby wipe, and I'm just going to clean this up because I don't want any of this dark aster shade to mix into the yellow. Okay. All right, so we're going to put aster aside. Make sure this is dry. I'm just wiping it with my fingertips. This is a silicone mat from Altenew. It's their 9x12 grip mat. I think they just call it a grip mat. Okay, here we go. Put that down. All right, so we're going to start with just the leaves, and then I'm going to add the dots on. I think it's going to just bring up the design just a notch. Okay, so get that one down. And I'm going to come in with Stardust. Grabbing my blending brush. And remember, we want a really light application of Stardust so we can get this lighter shade. We want both of these. So I'm going to start with the lightest shade and just really light application. Maybe a little more concentrated at the bottom. What I did with the aster shade as well. And then we're going to add the polka dots on, and I think it's going to look really cool. Okay. I think this is a good representation of that lighter yellow shade. See, I think that looks pretty good. All right, so I'm going to leave this stencil on here. In fact, just because it's not so, won't be so messy, I'm going to go ahead and wipe this stencil down a little bit. And if any ink transfers on, it'll be in the spot where I was already ink blending it, so it's not a big deal. Okay. Then I'm going to place the dots right over the top, and they're not going to stick to the grip mat anymore. So I'm going to grab some tape. It won't stick to the grip mat because the other stencil's underneath. So I just need to tape this in place. So that it doesn't slide around. Okay, that's pretty good. And these are such smaller dots. I'm going to switch to a smaller blending brush. So here we go. So everywhere that is open, I'm just going to be going over and adding some of that stardust. And I'm kind of hoping, this has happened in the past, sometimes when I layer some of these inks that kind of settle into the paper and they smooth out, sometimes when I layer them over the top of each other, a lighter shade that's put on top can sometimes almost bleach the shade underneath. I'm kind of hoping that might happen on some of these overlaps. I don't know if it will. It's a little bit of an experiment today, but we'll see. I'm also like, wait, where are the leaves I'm working on? I don't know if the polka dots will show up much on top of the, the orange or purple leaves below, but we will see. Okay, then we've got this one up here. I don't know that I ever would have thought of this color combination. So it's kind of fun. That's what the color cube and the color catalog is for. It's to help you kind of get out of your comfort zone, try some different color palettes you might not gravitate toward. Okay. Now we've got this one right here. I think I might even add a little extra blending with that nutmeg shade. I think that could be really interesting as well. So after I remove this dot stencil, I think I might come back over just the base of these leaves, like the ones at the bottom, where I had a little more of that concentrated color. I think I might add just a little bit of that nutmeg shade, this shade right here. I think that could be really interesting. We'll see. I'll remove the dots and then we'll see if it needs something extra. All right, just a couple more openings to add some ink to. Just slowly working my way across. Okay. All right, let's see. Actually, before I do that, I think I'm going to take a little bit of the nutmeg and just bring it in at the bottom. I think having a little extra color on these will only make it look even better. Okay, here we go. Okay, well that looks really cool. I like that. That looks awesome. I'm going to clean the stencil really quick. I'm almost out of rubbing alcohol in my little spray bottle. I'm like, just hang in there. Just one more stencil. Okay. I'm going to come in and just do a little bit, just all over. In fact, I might do this over the entire design here in a minute, just to get, so it's not so stark white in some areas. We'll see. Okay. Oh, that's really cool. I like that. And I do like the idea of bringing in a little bit of some color at the bottom so it's not so stark white. I really like that idea. Okay, so let's, if I bring in a little bit of nutmeg. Just gonna darken up the entire scene a little bit. And I'm almost thinking maybe I'll bring in a little bit of that aster, the dark shade. And you know, for all of this, I kind of want to take it off of this grip mat because the grip mat really, I don't know, I hate the feeling of the blending brush on top of the grip mat. It like sticks. Oh, I don't like it. So let's clean the grip mat really quick. And then I'm just going to move to a piece of paper here that already has tape on it that I was going to use earlier, never did. So now I can come in over here. And I feel like I can get a little bit of an easier blend. Oh yeah. I'm just like bringing that up. All right, I'm gonna switch to the aster shade. And I don't want a ton of this. I just want a little bit of an intensity down at the bottom. I mean, I don't want to lose all of the paprika shade. I just want to bring in a little bit more of this aster. I'm trying to be really cautious with it. I don't want it to overwhelm anything. Okay. Very dramatic. Kind of retro. I'm loving it. I'm going to put my blending brushes away. And I think I'm going to call it for this background. And we're going to make 2 A2 cards out of it because why not? Right? Okay, so let's look at the original color inspiration. That's pretty close. You can kind of pick out each one of the colors in it. That's really great. Okay. So now we can finish off. Actually, I'm going to keep this out because we might need to make some DIY cardstock for all of this, right? Because I don't have cardstock colors in this except for the Stardust. I do for that, but I don't have any other colors. Clean off my fingertips because they're all inky. You know what? I totally forgot to end that poll. I'm glad it was still the one I used. That's hilarious. Okay. So now we need to cut this in half. Just going to use my paper trimmer that's across the room. All right, so I've got two card fronts. Let's mount these on some card bases. Oh, thank you, Janie. This is violet velvet. Yeah, one or the other from Dazzle Dry. I can't remember. All right, these are just going directly onto some folded card bases. And then we're going to keep these really simple by just using the Sending Trio stamps and dies. Okay. I feel like I need to look at them like this. Okay. The Sending Trio stamps and dies. I think I want to have the sending be die cut. So let's see here. Maybe we could do... I like the idea of doing some DIY cardstock using the Aster color and then gold embossing on it for like the secondary grading. So maybe I'll do a sending, how about sending strength and sending resilience. That sounds like some good encouraging things. Okay, I'm going to grab some cardstock here. And for this Aster DIY cardstock, oh wow, that's really dark. Maybe I don't want it that dark. Let's go back to the blending brush. We don't want it quite that dark. Maybe we do. And if we do, we have enough there for both. Actually, I think maybe I will do it that dark. I mean, it'll match. All right, but now I need to make sure this is completely dry, so I'm going to hit it with my heat tool. Maybe I'll let it dry as much on its own as much as I can while I die cut these other pieces. So, out of gold. Apparently I've cut a lot of gold frames. Just looking for some cardstock that has enough space to trim out these dies. I think I might be able to get both out of that. All right, so when it comes to cutting out gold die cuts, I have started using the Gina K Intricate machine because I can adjust the pressure and then I don't get weird little nubbies on them. So that is what I'm going to be doing. For the most part, for other die cutting, I actually like to use my Anna Griffin Empress, but I've been really loving the Intricate for stuff like this. All right, so I've got my gold. I might be able to get both of these in one go. Let's see. Of sending and sending. Oh, that's perfect. I'm going to use just a little bit of Easy C tape to hold each one of these dies in place. All right, then I'll just put this right on top and run that through. Amra says, love how your stencils are large so you can make 2 cards at once. I love that too. And to be honest, the size actually was inspired by 5x7 cards. I just wanted stencils that were large enough for 5x7 cards, you know? And then it just made sense to have them be 6x9 so that you could do 2 card fronts. Okay. Let's see how these did. Well, I almost lost the little dot for the eye. Glad I didn't. See, oh, it's beautiful. Has no little nubbies on it. Where there should be, like right in the middle of the S, and there's nothing. That's what I love about it. Okay. Am I going to be stacking these? Maybe. Oh, you know what? I did lose the little tiny dot for the eye. That is unfortunate. Wait, it's still on the die. Yay. Okay. Where is a little dish to put some die cuts? Oh my bird, that's so tiny. I mean, I knew it was tiny. I've created with this die, but it's been over a month. It's been a while. Okay. Oh, such a dainty little sending. Okay, and before I lose that one, let's put that one in there too. And then I think I'm going to die cut each of these out of some white cardstock, and it will, then we can stack them. And I have some Altenew double-sided adhesive right here. I think I have some more over here somewhere, maybe. Oh, maybe not. I think I ran out. Sorry, y'all. I'm still getting over my cold. I'm like actively trying to not cough. Okay. Got some Altenew adhesive sheet. I just think it's going to be easier to stack this like super dainty sending if I just use double-sided adhesive. I'm going to cut my double-sided adhesive to the right size. Kevin is downstairs meowing, if you can hear him. Hey, Betsy. Yes, I am also, I'm probably going to be really tired tomorrow. Drinking water, that will help the coughing. Okay, so double-sided adhesive from Altenew, which I didn't really use for die cut greetings much until that live stream when Sika was visiting. When was that? Was that back in June? Maybe even been earlier in the year. But when we tested out different methods for stacking intricate die cuts, and I was like blown away by how much better of an experience it was to just use the double-sided adhesive. And then I saw that Altenew had their double-sided adhesive on sale. And I grabbed that up as fast as possible. All right. I've also discovered it's lots easier to cut these out if you cut into the plate on the Anna Griffin Empress instead of into the magnetic mat. Yeah, Betsy, that's what I'm thinking. Okay. And like Sika's and my main complaint with doing this particular method was that all of the little interior pieces they were just like a hassle to deal with. But I found that a really easy way around that is you just poke them out onto some paper. All right, I want to make sure I keep my little top of the eye. So we'll put him there. And then we're going to put the other top of the eye right here. It's actually stuck to my finger. I'm not sure where I'm going to put it where I don't lose it. You know what? I'm going to put it right here. I'm not going to press it down. I'm just putting it there so it won't get lost. And then what you do, because I don't want these other little interior pieces, so come over here and I press them with my little pokey tool, and then I can lift up the die and it leaves those behind. In theory, these don't have, they actually have the masking release paper on the back, so that's why they didn't pop out, which is annoying. Okay. Just put that right there. And then I can send this through my die cutting machine again. And this time I'll try going into the magnetic mat to see if that helps things kind of stay in place a little bit better. We'll see. I'm thinking I want probably just 2 layers, maybe 3. Lovely. That's what I wanted. I wanted it to stay in the die, but come off the release paper. That one sort of didn't. Sort of did, sort of didn't. There we go. Does anyone know when Severance is supposed to come back? I haven't looked into it, but I was just thinking the other day, I'm like, that season was a while ago. I wonder where it went. All right, for the sending, the scripty one, then we go like this. Lovely. I got all of them, and it left a little eye in there, a little dot on the eye, which I love. Okay, I'm thinking just the 3 layers, like the 2 white and the 1 gold, will be perfect. So, I'm thinking we could do because we'll do kind of like sending and then put the resilience or whatever right below it. So, get my tweezers here. Early 2026. Lovely. I'm going to use my Pear Blossom Press little T-square ruler to help get this. Well, for one thing, I can get it centered this way if I do this end down here. Okay, thinking like right about there. I'm just going to try to get the bottom of the letters kind of lined up. There we go. This little tittle for this eye, that's what the dots are called. They're called tittles. I think it's so funny. It didn't have the release paper off it. Sorry, I'm like concentrating, trying to get this on here just right. Okay, press that down. And then if you remember, I did not put adhesive on the gold layer, so I'm gonna have to add a little bit of glue on this. Oh my word, my glue bottle is acting really weird. Okay, I'm just really pressing that into place. Put a little tiny, did I put a dab of glue on that already? I did not. And then I'll grab the gold dot. Lovely. And then for this other one, I think I'll just have it be kind of right there as well. Why reinvent the wheel when you don't need to? And then I'll pop this one out. Put this one right on top. Man, I love stacked intricate greetings. They look so good. Just love them. All right, I'm going to grab the little dot on the eye is still there. So I'm just going to put that right there, and then I can press that dot out. Ta-da! I'm going to grab the other little dot, which I put right here so I wouldn't lose it. Oh, I just closed it on itself. There we go. Such a teeny tiny dot. All right, I'll put a little tiny bit of glue. On these, including on the dot on the eye. Then I'll put the gold right on the top. A little tiny bit of glue squidging out, but not much. And then I pinch my tweezers to like get them in the right spot. I can also use my tweezers to kind of clean up any glue that's squidging out. And then put that gold dot right on top. Ta-da! So really intricate little die cut greeting there. All right, let's revisit the rest of the sentiment and see if we can emboss on it. Wow, our DIY cardstock's looking really good. It's drying back really solid. It's not as dark as I had feared it might be, so that's great. We're going to do a test run of the heat embossing before actually stamping to make sure that it's not going to have any issues. All right, let's zoom out here. Okay. I kind of know this is going to be wet. It feels wet. So I'm going to hit it with my heat tool to see if it can dry. Let's do a test run. Let me grab my gold embossing powder. They're all stacked in my drawer right next to me, and the gold was not on top. Okay. I'm going to do anti-static powder tool over all of it first. Let's hope this slides right off. I think we're in business. That looks great. Okay. Use my Misty. Put that down. And we were doing strength and resilience, right? Strength, resilience. Okay. Actually, now that I think about that, these are going to be cut out really tiny. And if I have a mess up on my embossing, let's put it down in the bottom corner so that I can stamp them again. How about that? Okay. for embossing ink, I think Versamark. Yeah, I think I'll do Versamark. Such small little words, so I'm just going to really gently press with my fingers. That actually looks pretty good, but I'm going to stamp one more time. I probably should have done my powder tool one more time too. We'll see how that works, if it's going to backfire on me or not. All right, we'll set this aside. Using Gilded Embossing Powder from Brutus Monroe. I think that's going to be great. Oh, those look great. Look at that. Okay. Letting this cool off a little bit. And then I'm going to wipe it with my microfiber cloth, and that'll get rid of any of that anti-static powder. Like, it's really dusty looking right now, right? Wow, it's really sticking to that ink, isn't it? You can also use your fingertips, like the oils from your fingers will get the powder to go away as well. I think that's the best I'm going to get it. Okay. In the die set, it has these little bars. So I could die cut these out really quick. So let's run this through. And like do it off to one side. So I only have to cut off one end. We're getting close here. We just have to do a little bit of foam adhesive underneath the words after I trim them just a little bit. And then we are totally golden. Just over an hour for 2 cards. Not bad. Not bad at all. Okay. Let's trim these. All right. I've got some, ooh, these might be the perfect length actually. Actually, that'd be a little short. Some narrow foam strips from scrapbook.com. There's quite a few companies that have these narrow strips out right now, which I love. that one. And then we'll go ahead and get this one as well. I don't think there will be an edited replay for this particular card video, the live stream. So I'm glad you guys are watching live. The replay will go up, just not an edited version. So just because I have way too much that I'm doing this week, and I don't think I'll have the time. Okay, so this one, the foam is actually going to interfere with a little bit of that G. So I'm going to pick up the foam, peel it up just a little bit, and cut that off. Then I'm going to take some glue. I have no idea where it's going to hit the G, so I'm just going to put glue all right there. And then can sit right on top there. And then if it does fall down a little bit onto the G, it can just glue there. Okay. Not bad. I'm also tempted to do some gold frames on these cards, but you know what? Okay, if I have gold frames cut out, I'm going to do it. I don't know that I have them that are the right size. What is this one? Oh. Stop it. Okay, where's the other? Do I have another one that's already cut out? Looks like I've got a 5x7. I do not have an A2. Well, dang it. I guess I could cut one. Let's cut one real quick, because I think it looks great. Do we want to do, yeah, it would have to be slightly inside. So this middle size, this like size that's in between, this is actually more thin frames from the More Thin Frames die set. I'll cut this real quick. This is great because now I have an interior that I can use for adhering the frames so that they're on there just right. So what I like to do is, this is the interior. So what I do is I take some repositionable adhesive and just, put some on there. And then I'll get it centered on the card. And then I can apply the glue around the outer edge. I store my cardstocks, including this gold cardstock, in plastic sleeves from Stampin' Storage. So I'm trying to not get any of the glue on the actual gold interior piece. I only want it to go on the frame. So then I can come in here and add that frame. If I can get it to stay down. And I can pop this one up. There we go. There's a little bit of adhesive from that repositionable adhesive sticking around, but I can just rub it with my fingertips and brush it away. Okay, so there's the first one. The second one, do a little bit of repositionable adhesive up there. Get that in place. And then I can apply glue right along that edge. This glue dries clear, so if it does kind of squidge out from underneath the frame, or if it's not quite right, it's not a problem. Hold on, I gotta get my comments scrolling again. There we go. Okay. Getting my frame on here. Coming down on all the sides. And just pop it back out. Just gives me a little bit of guidance for when I'm adhering the frame. Like, I feel like sometimes if you put the glue on the frame and then you go to put it on your card, it's a little bit unwieldy. Okay, all right. I like that. I think the frames were a great addition. It needed just a little more shine on there. Looks great. These look really similar to some of the cards I made for the actual release itself. Let's see, where did I put those cards? I will show you the cards so you can see an example. Yeah, it looks really similar. I even did that frame on this one. There you go. But I stamped the secondary greeting just on the background. And then for this one, I have the same Sending Resilience, but I used the shadow die on the outside on top of the background. Isn't that interesting? Cool. All right. Well, here was the background all as one and then cut apart. I will update the supply list right now before I kind of close up shop for the night. After I am not live anymore, that is. And thanks for joining me tonight. Just a reminder that we have mail call coming up on Wednesday at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. Tonight's live video was at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, so it will be 1 hour later on Wednesday night, and I'm going to open up all of the mail for August 2025. So I hope you'll come back and join me. It's going to be a lot of fun. The theme is coloring, and I've had a little peek at some of the cards that have come in, and they are spectacular. The coloring theme is bound to be a great night. So come back and join me on Wednesday night. We'll take a look at all of those cards. Thanks so much for joining me. Like I said, there is no edited replay for this live stream tonight. At least I don't think there will be. There might be. No, there won't. There won't be. I don't have time. So thanks so much for hanging in there with me and seeing these cards from start to finish. I will see you all tomorrow morning, bright and early, for the 9 a.m. release of my September 2025 products. I hope you'll come back and check those out. Thanks for watching and joining me tonight, and I will see you all in the next video.